got a trailer trash episode of Applesauce and Baloney. Very fitting, because we have a metric ton of trailers coming out right now. We had to talk about them. We're not going to be able to talk about them all, but we will try. I'm Eric.
I'm Thor, and Applesauce and Baloney trailer trash. Here we go. Come
in, Big Thor. Come in, Big Thor. This is Little Creeper. Come back. That's my trucker voice.
All right. All right. Well, let's look out for the Smokies and let's talk trailers.
Right.
First one up. We're gonna hit Matrix Revolution. Trailer just dropped in the last week. Man,
Neo's back.
I didn't know that I wanted another Matrix movie.
Right.
But I definitely, I've spent the last week going back watching the last 3 Matrix movies just because I'm like,
right.
Do I not remember how this happened? Am I forgetting?
He's dead, right? That's what I was saying. I was like, I thought we were all dead. I thought everybody was dead.
Yeah. So we get we're revisiting or rebooting or resurrecting, I guess is the proper term.
We've already revolved it. We've already rebooted. We've already reloaded it. Now we're gonna resurrect the Matrix.
Yeah. Has anyone tried turning it off and back on again?
Right. I mean, I guess if you want to be technically, no, we didn't need the Matrix revolution or resurrections. Even half of the Wachowski sisters, the creators of it, don't think that we need another one. It's just Lana this time out. But I did read an interesting article where she talks about she'd lost her parents, she'd lost some people in her life, and she was just laying there one night and she thought, well, I can't bring them back to life, but who else is important in my life is Neo and Trinity, and I can bring them back to life. So pretty much once I read that article, I stopped wondering how Neo's going to be back, and I'm just going to go along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I mean, I love Keanu Reeves. Yeah. I enjoyed I really enjoyed the first Matrix movie. It was groundbreaking for its time.
You and I have talked about it before. I believe that the first Matrix movie probably changed cinema, especially blockbuster cinema, as much as Star Wars did, and that's saying a lot coming from me. But yeah, there's a whole different kind of movies now. We wouldn't have a lot of movies if we didn't have the Matrix first. So if they want to revisit that world, I'll rewatch it. If it's basically just kind of a soft reboot, that's kind of a reboot-equal that they do every once in a while now, I'm okay with that. Another one of the trailers we're going to talk about, Ghostbusters Afterlife. This is another movie that's basically a reboot, but it's a sequel as well.
Seek boot.
But a seek boot.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting because it's, people have really been complaining about this trailer, saying that it doesn't look like the Matrix movies. Neo doesn't look like Neo. The colors are off. Everything looks different. But going back and watching the end of the last Matrix movie, the Matrix became a different Matrix.
Yes.
And so visually, I'm really enjoying where they're going in this trailer. It's really speaking to me creatively. I love the picture window in a window where we can see all the Matrix code, but then there's a lighter Matrix code, but it's also kind of like the city. It's really, really creative the way they're doing this. I'm excited to see.
Right. I'm excited for
the spectacle of it. It's going to be an amazing action movie. It's going to have great visuals. It's definitely a big screen.
If you're a fan of if you're a little younger and you're a fan of John Wick movies or a lot of these gun fu movies that are out now, this was the granddaddy. Granddaddy. So I promise you, there's going to be some amazing action sequences in this movie. If nothing else, if we get nothing else, if I walk into that theater and I'm like, I don't get how any of this happened. I don't know why Neo's back. I'm still going to have a good time. There's no way that even the Matrix movies at some of their most convoluted parts were always amazing action movies. You knew you were going to get your money's worth. I'm excited for NPH, Neil Patrick Harris, being in this. I think that's a different take. I'm curious why we're getting Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves, but not Lawrence Fishburne. But I'm sure there's a reason.
Right. Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by
Morpheus.
that. Yeah. I'm intrigued by that because we back to John Wick. The last time we were talking about this, not on the podcast, we brought up the fact that Lawrence Fishburne. You're like, well, Lawrence Fishburne isn't a heavy action movie guy. Like, he's getting older, but he was in one of the last John Wick movies.
Yep.
So it'll be. I'm very intrigued with the story they're going to tell, because it's a very different world, other than Neo and Trinity. I think they're the only characters that are remaining out of this Matrix. Obviously we're not getting an Agent Smith, but who's the antagonist? What's the story we're getting? The trailer really doesn't tell us this far. But I didn't think I was going to be on board for it, but I'm totally excited for The Matrix.
I'm pretty stoked for it. There's a lot of great science fiction coming out. I think moving on, one of the greatest science fiction novels ever written has been made into a movie by David Lynch back after the Star Wars rush got greenlit. It's a great movie, but not the adaptation of Dune we've wanted. There was another TV series, Dune, but now we're getting another movie version of Frank Herbert's Dune. The science fiction classic. There'd be no Star Wars. Heavy influence on George Lucas in Star Wars. Really, the first book outside Isaac Asimov's Foundation that does the whole galactic empire thing. I mean, this movie, if you're not familiar with Dune, it's going to be Shakespeare in space. But don't let that scare you away from it. I think they go out of their way in the trailer to show you, okay, there's a lot of metaphysical, existential stuff going on, but there's also going to be some badass action in this Dune trailer.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm excited for it because, as you know, I'm not a big reader. I have no problem admitting that. I like listening to books. I like watching movies.
You like the pictures.
I'm a picture book guy. But I think people who are really big fans of the book Dune, who were really let down by the movie, should be really excited by this. I think people that really grew up knowing the world of Dune based on the movie we got before, like myself, are in for a big surprise, because it's not that movie. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. The minute we heard that they were doing a reboot of it, we had to buy it and watch it, and it's one of my wife's favorite movies too. Yeah.
Well, and again, I'm biased, but I'd like to believe, I really tried to watch this trailer through the lens of somebody who knew nothing about Dune, and I still wanted to see it. I think the trailer does a really good job, whoever edited this trailer together, getting you excited about it, showing you some cool action scenes, but also trying to explain the world and why you're going to care about this. That it really is. It's a story about a father and his son. They hit that hard. The cast in this is going to be awesome.
Oh, the cast is incredible.
We got. Where do we start? We got Oscar Isaac. We get Dave Bautista. We're going to have Jason Momoa.
Timothy Clement. Zendaya. So
Josh Brolin.
Yeah, if you weren't on board for the story, you're definitely on board for the cast, because they.
And please go see this movie, because if you don't know anything about Dune, it's a multi-story. It's a huge story. We're talking Star Wars, and if you don't go see this movie, they might not make another one, and I will die. I will die if they don't. If I'm almost, that's what makes me afraid to almost see Dune. Is I'm like, I can't have my heart broken.
Yeah.
Like if I go see this, they better do another one.
Yeah, you got to see it opening weekend to support it, but you don't want to see it opening weekend because you want to know that the sequel's been greenlit and they're moving forward with it. Yeah. Which I believe it has. I believe they've greenlit the sequel. I think we're moving forward with it.
Okay, good. I can calm down.
I think that was part of the deal that they made with Denis Villeneuve about kind of going to the whole Scarlett Johansson thing with the streaming. HBO wants to set it for streaming at the sequential release as the theatrical. I think that was their kind of gimme for him.
Concession, right.
Yeah, of cool, well, we're going to put it to streaming, but because we're putting it to streaming, we'll let you move forward with your sequel.
Awesome, good. Thank you. Thank goodness. Yeah, because I can't handle going to see Empire Strikes Back and then having that just be it.
Right. Could you imagine that? Right. Could you? No, I am your father. And then that's just it. That's where we stop. Yeah. moving on.
Good movie. Yeah. But yeah. So no, excited for Dune. But we got to move on. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah, so much to talk about.
Ghostbusters Afterlife. We got Paul Rudd. We got Finn Wolfhard. We're gonna get another Ghostbusters movie. I liked the last Ghostbusters movie just fine. A lot of people did not.
Right.
But I'll take all the Ghostbusters.
I really enjoyed the last movie. My son really enjoys the last movie. Is it a Ghostbusters movie? Yeah, it's a Ghostbusters movie.
Yes, it's a Ghostbusters movie.
Is it a sequel to Ghostbusters 2? No, it's not. But was Ghostbusters 2 good? Well,
no.
I enjoyed it.
There's some good parts.
You know, hey, Vigo.
I want you to know everything you are doing is bad. Yes. Yeah. No. I mean, it's Ghostbusters. It's silly. The first Ghostbusters movie it's one of those movies. We've talked about this, in our conversations that led us to want to, talk about it on a YouTube channel. But Ghostbusters is one of those rare 80. They seem to only come out in the 80s. That was like, what genre do you put it in? It was, it was like Big Trouble in Little China. Is it a horror movie? Is it an action movie? Is it a comedy? The answer is yes. And that formula, that like zeitgeist, that spirit, to use Ghostbuster lingo, it's been missing from. I mean, it has been missing from every other attempt to do Ghostbusters. There was Ghostbusters. It's brilliant. Ghostbusters 2, they tried to do it again. I used to have pinned up on my wall, and as a kid, the quote from my Starlog magazine that said, from Bill Murray, there will absolutely not be a Ghostbusters 2, and if we did, it wouldn't be called Ghostbusters 2. And then they did it. But no, even the last one, with Melissa McCarthy and that cast, Leslie Jones and oh my God, what's her name? The Egon. What's that actress's name?
McKinnon. Katie McKinnon.
Yeah, Kate McKinnon. I thought they were great. I'm sad that there probably won't be a sequel to that movie just because of all the
super bummed.
All the anger. I mean, it's anyway. I don't want to go off on that.
Yeah, that's a different Ghostbusters movie. Talking about this Ghostbusters movie.
Yes.
Oh man, like all the feels, like
all the nostalgic feels.
When you see the first trailer and you see the car and you're like, oh, I love Ecto 1, and then they do the closet reveal with all of Egon's outfits, and you're like, oh, what a great tribute to that actor. It's such an amazing it brought.
It is a love letter. It's a love letter
movie.
It's definitely a love letter movie. It's our characters have, I guess our Ghostbusters, they had a big rise. It was all kind of like they do in Ghostbusters 2. They were heroes, and then all of a sudden they were laughed at and nobody believed them. And this era, in this world, this era of ghostbusting goes by, and then nobody hears about it for such a long time that Paul Rudd's character has to explain to the kids, like, you never heard of the Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
So it's really hitting people our age, but also trying to pull in, and casting Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, brilliant, bringing that crowd, because Stranger Things is a great show, but it is a huge love letter to the 80s and all those movies.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, it's going to grab our generation. It's going to grab the people that love Ghostbusters. It's definitely still a movie that people who haven't watched Ghostbusters can go see,
and not have to know everything about Ghostbusters.
Right, because we're going to get that explanation from Paul Rudd's character. We're gonna get who the Ghostbusters were, and then we're going to see some amazing action, and we're going to get some amazing storytelling, and it's going to be so fun.
I'm excited for that ride. I'm excited for that.
I can't wait. Movie. It's had me wanting to go buy all the toys. I bought all the old Ghostbuster toys.
Yes.
I was just at Target the other day, and they had the PKE meter that I always wanted as a kid, and they had a ghost trap that I always wanted as a kid, and they had a proton pack.
I think you made a PKE meter. I have a memory of you trying to build a PKE meter in your garage.
That would have worked had you hadn't stopped me.
Right.
But,
well played.
But yeah, I mean the little Stay Puft marshmallow creatures that they're selling. Spoiler alert: there was a Venkman, an older Venkman in a Ghostbuster getup toy. So if the toys are anything about the movie, we're going to get a Bill Murray cameo.
We get Bill Murray looking sad in a jumpsuit and a backpack.
Yeah.
Looking sad and old.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Give it to me.
I mean, that's super excited about this movie.
Ghostbusters Afterlife, excited. Moving on into the Afterlife, so we got to talk about Morbius.
Right.
A character I know a little bit from Spider-Man, but I'm pretty excited about this. I went from being middling excited about the Spider-Verse post MCU, where what Sony's going to do with their Spider-Man property, they're part of it. I got a lot more excited after Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Morbius. So I think we should start with Morbius here.
Yeah,
Jared Leto.
I mean, to your point, I did not like the Venom movie. It did not sit well with me. I thought it was okay. It was an okay movie. I thought it was good. It was an okay movie, but it's just like...
But again, I like Tom Hardy, and Tom Hardy walking around for an hour and a half talking to himself was entertaining.
Yeah.
Regardless.
But I think the problem with that is that it wasn't my Venom. I grew up in the comics era where Venom was the symbiote that came from Spider-Man, and he was a bad guy, and he was the worst. And that Venom, we're not getting that Venom because of the way that Sony had to do their movies. We're getting a different Venom.
Right.
It's
still kind of the symbiote, though. It's still
the symbiote. But they've moved very quickly into that anti-hero role where we didn't get that long stretch of period where he was a villain.
Right.
And I know in the comics right now he's been a part of the Avengers, and he's been a hero, and he's worked with the Punisher and stuff.
Well, he's one of those villains that obviously, because he was such a fan favorite, wasn't ever supposed to be a hero, but got turned into a hero because he was so popular with a generation of Spider-Man fans that are all after us.
Right.
I stopped reading Spider-Man when Venom came around. My Spider-Man villains are the Vulture, the Green Goblin, Hobgoblin, Sandman, Lizard,
Yeah, but to bring it back to Morbius, I wasn't really excited about either of these two properties until I saw, like you said, the Venom 2 trailer, and we get Cletus Cassidy. We're going to get Carnage. I'm really kind of on board with where the story's going. And then I didn't really even know, like, I'd heard them talk about the Morbius movie, and I knew that Jared Leto was shooting it and stuff, and we'd seen little still shots here and there. I didn't know a trailer was out. So that was fun for me watching this trailer, because I had absolutely zero cares about this movie. I wasn't really on board with Jared Leto's Joker. I didn't really enjoy him in the Blade Runner movie. He's just not really my cup of tea.
I liked him in the Blade Runner movie. I thought he was good.
But what is this movie? I mean, wow, I guess. To your point, I don't have a big history with Morbius the Living Vampire from the comics. I've read a couple.
Yeah, no,
I've seen, obviously, they've transitioned him into the Spider-Man animated series that used to be out.
Right.
They did some Morbius stuff. We're going to go in really weird directions.
I'm pretty stoked for this guy. He's kind of like, I wanted to say, it reminded me of evil, like, vampire Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Now I'm interested in Morbius. And I'm really interested because the end of this Morbius trailer, who shows up?
Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah. So
Vulture. So we're getting the Sinister Six together. I think
is that our Vulture? Is that the homecoming Vulture, or are we in a different universe? Is Marvel letting them play in the universe?
They are. It says at the beginning of the trailer, in association. Yep.
Because we see that mural on the wall that has the picture of Spider-Man, and it says murderer. So that ties into the end of No Way Home.
Well, and says in
Far From Home.
But it says in the trailer, it says in association with Marvel Studios. So in the same way that Marvel's allowed to use Marvel or Spider-Man for their Avengers stuff, so that part of the deal must be that they can, because the Spider-Man movies are Sony's. I mean, they're doing it with Marvel, but so all the Spider-Man Dead, J. Jonah Jameson, all that stuff, that's all theirs. But definitely in their own way, leaning on this is the Spider-Verse, and they're letting us know we're getting the Vulture. We've got Venom and Carnage. We're going to have apparently Electro's coming back. We've got Doc Ock. That's 5. Yeah. That's 5.
Yeah.
We need one more, and we're going to get their Sinister Six.
We have Sandman.
And
possibly the Lizard. So I mean, we might get the Sinister Seven.
Or the Sinister Six, and Spider-Man teams up with Venom.
Yeah.
Which is where I think they're going. That's where I think they're going. We're gonna meet. This is prediction time. Some major baloney with a big expiration date. I think we're gonna see chances. What do you think? Chances are we're gonna see Tom Holland Spider-Man at the end of Venom 2. We're gonna see it.
So that's before I would have said big baloney. Like that's a big bite of baloney. There was just an interview with Tom Hardy where he was saying that he thinks the future of Venom is a team up with Spider-Man, possibly in Venom 3.
Why wouldn't they do that?
We're absolutely in the territory where we could get a Tom Holland cameo.
If we're having Venom be the anti-hero, if we're having him be the hero that doesn't want to be a hero, but he's a hero, he's got to team up with Spider-Man, right? Like we got to have that. The banter between them would be great.
And that really could. It lends itself to the fact that Sony was gonna move it to January because of ticket sales, and then they moved it back to October. And now because Shang-Chi did so well, they moved it up
Shang-Chi got them all excited.
A couple of weeks. So it really makes me wonder if we're not going to get a Spider-Man tie-in at the end of this, just based on the fact that they wanted to make sure it was coming out before Spider-Man.
Maybe both. Maybe we get a Spider-Man tie-in in that, and then Spider-Man No Way Home, we get a Venom. I mean, hell, what if Venom shows up in Spider-Man No Way Home? He could.
He absolutely could. There were people. There was a scene in the trailer where this kind of amorphous dark blob comes through the window and attacks Spider-Man. People were saying it was the Lizard because that's a villain that we have in the multiverse. They're saying it's Sandman because that's a villain we have in the multiverse. People were saying it's Venom because it's just a black amorphous blob that takes a swipe at Peter Parker. We don't know yet. Will we know? We're not going to know probably at least until we get another trailer or we get or we get to see the movie. Because there's so much about Spider-Man that we don't know. So much.
I know, and talking about trailers, man. This episode, we're all over the road, baby.
Yeah,
we're all over the road. But we had to talk. There were so many trailers that came out. We had to do just a quick one. Let us know if you want us to talk about any other ones. I mean, we had to cut. We want to talk about some Top Gun. We want to talk about like a bunch of other trailers. They're just dropping them like crazy. It's going to be a great end of the year. The last few months of this year and going into next year. Real excited for a lot of stuff coming up. We'll definitely do more trailer episodes. Did we miss one? I think we got one.
I mean, we jumped I have a list of things that we didn't talk about. I mean, we didn't talk about James Bond.
Oh yeah. No Time to Die. No time to talk about. No Time to Die.
We didn't talk about Hawkeye. Hawkeye's the biggest property right now. We didn't even talk about Hawkeye. Again. Eternals, we got Spider-Man, there's 2 Batman properties coming out. We're going to get the Rob Pattinson Batman. We also have a Batman radio drama that's going to be dropping on HBO Max.
I'm interested in that. Like, I'm really interested about, like, you and I used to, we're nerds. We're big time film and entertainment nerds. We used to listen to old radio dramas.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I'm curious to see how they think that's going to fly with a new generation, but maybe it's this whole podcast thing that we're trying to jump on that they're thinking they can do.
Well, it's weird because they're doing a radio drama on HBO Max. They're not dropping it on a podcast thing. It's you have to be a subscriber of HBO Max. So are we going to be watching a live radio drama? Are we going to be watching like an animated thing?
I don't know.
I don't know what we're going to get, but I'm excited for it. But so that's coming up in October. The thing that's coming out most next, and we're probably going to gush about it a lot. We're not going to do it here because we're going to hit an episode really hard on it. Star Wars Visions. So excited for it.
Star Wars.
Yeah. So we're gonna park our trailer on that. We're gonna end here, and plenty more trailers coming out. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's so much content coming out over the course of the next year. Super excited. Hang out with us. talk more stuff. If we didn't talk a property that you're interested in, drop a comment down there and say, dude, you didn't talk about my favorite trailer.
Right.
And we'll try to get to that next, or we'll talk to you offline about it.
We'll hitch it on and we'll drag it down the road.
So until next time, guys, thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, join in the fun, and it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeehaw! See you next time.